High-five facts presents. Top 5 mysterious sex demons who make girls pregnant. Throughout history and all across the world, people have reported sexual contact with all manner of supernatural beings. Many people believe sex demons were born out of a need to explain away subjects that were generally considered taboo. Things such as unexpected pregnancy, abortion and promiscuity were met with anger and persecution. As a result, society came up with a number of mythical creatures, 5 of which are listed below. Number 5. Succubus and Incubus. Probably the most well-known sex demon, the succubus is a female demon who takes the form of an attractive seductress in order to seduce men. It is generally believed that the succubus legend came about as a result of the medieval preoccupation with sin, especially sexual sins of women. The male version of the succubus is the incubus. Like his female counterpart, the incubus will drain the strength and life energy from his victims. Unlike the succubus, the incubus will impregnate his victims with another incubus. The victim will then carry the baby to term, but when she gives birth the baby appears to be stillborn. It will have no pulse and it won't appear to breathe. Then, around the age of 7 the child will appear to behave normally, but will usually be very attractive and intelligent. According to some legends, the wizard Merlin is the product of an incubus father and a human mother. It is also believed by some that the Virgin Mary was deflowered by an incubus. Many believe the incubi most likely came about as a scapegoat for rape and sexual assault. Both victim and rapist would have most likely found it easier to explain the attack supernaturally rather than confronting the truth. Number 4. Alp. Originating from Teutonic or German folklore, an Alp is a small, elf-like creature who is said to have climbed onto a sleeping victim's chest, turned into a fine mist and entered the body through the nostrils, mouth or vagina. Once inside, the elf had the ability to control its victims' dreams, creating horrible nightmares. Its victims reported a breathless feeling when they awoke. This may have been an early explanation for sleep apnea and other sleep disorders. Number 3. Orang Maniac. In the 1960s a large number of young women were raped in several Malaysian towns. The attacker was described as a naked man, covered from head to toe with oil. Some said that Orang Maniac could appear invisible to non-virgins. Mass panic ensued, and many young women of the region began wearing sweaty, stinky clothes so the Orang Maniac would mistake them for male and leave them be. Some speculate that the Orang Maniac was, in fact, a regular human criminal, who covered himself with oil to camouflage himself against the night, and to make him especially slippery to catch. Sightings of the oily man have continued through the decades, with the last sighting in 2005. Number 2. Popobawa. Popobawa, meaning batwing in Swahili, is said to be a large, bat-like creature with one eye and a very large penis. It is said to stalk the men and women of Zanzibar, Africa, and surrounding islands. It is a shapeshifter, often taking the form of a human or animal. It usually visits households at night, and it doesn't discriminate against men, women or children, often sodomizing an entire household before moving on. Victims are warned by Popobawa to tell others about the attack, or risk it returning. Popobawa first appeared on the island of Pemba in 1965, and sightings have been reported as recently as 2007. There are several different theories about Popobawa's origin. Some say it is an angry spirit created by a sheik to take vengeance on his neighbors. In 2007, researcher Benjamin Radford investigated Popobawa and found that its roots are in Islam, the dominant religion of the area. According to Radford, holding or reciting the Quran is said to keep the Popobawa at bay, much as the Bible is said to dispel Christian demons. Others argue, perhaps more realistically, that Popobawa is an articulated social memory of the horrors of slavery. The way in which Popobawa is said to sodomize its victims may also have something to do with the fact that homosexuality is still illegal in Zanzibar. Number 1. Aliens. A modern-day version of the incubi myth, there are countless cases of alien abductions, many with sexual undertones. Some reports suggest the use of an invasive anal probe, and others talk of a sexual union with the aliens themselves. 52-year-old jazz singer Pamela Stonebrook claims to have regular sex with the 6-foot-tall reptilian alien. "My first sexual encounter with an alien was unlike any lovemaking I've experienced before," Stonebrook claims. "It was so intense and enjoyable and, without wanting to get too graphic, he was so much larger than most men. I remember exactly how I felt when I saw him for the first time. I awoke from my sleep to find myself making love to what appeared to be a Greek god. At first I assumed it was an exceptionally lucid dream. But the sex was very intense, and as I closed my eyes I was overwhelmed by how comfortable I felt with this unknown being. The next time I opened my eyes he had transformed into a reptilian entity with scaly, snake-like skin. It was then I realized I was making love to a shape-shifting alien." Sensing I was scared, the reptile whispered, "We've always been together, we love each other." The orgasms were intense. When I tell men about my reptilian experience, they find it difficult. There are countless stories involving alien/human lovemaking. Antonio Vilas Boas of Brazil claims that, in 1957, he was abducted by aliens and put in a room with a beautiful, fair-haired woman and forced to mate with her. Howard Menger claimed to have regular sexual liaisons with Marla, a beautiful blonde woman from space who claimed to be 500 years old. In the 1970s, a 19-year-old girl in California claimed to have been gang raped by 6 blue-skinned, web-footed humanoids who attacked her after she watched their spaceship land. Due to the outlandish nature of the claims and the general lack of evidence, most people dismiss such reports. Sadly though, it is likely that many of the people who make such claims do so as a result of a deep, psychological need.